Christine Lisi. Another hurdle crossed by Titans running back Derrick Henry as he makes his way back from a fractured foot. Responded well to the contact in practice. A decision on whether he plays in Saturday's AFC divisional playoff game versus the Bengals expected to be made on Friday. Having Henry on the field would dramatically change that game, notes our Chris Canty.
Even if he can't cut, if he's running straight downhill, he is a bowling ball of knives that nobody on that Bengals defense wants to tackle. And if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator, I'm willing to take my chances with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown beating me because you know what? I know that 22 can beat me.
Chris Canty of Canty and Golick Jr. Henry last played in Week 8. Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians fined $50,000 by the NFL for swiping his hand at Tampa safety Andrew Adams' helmet during the wildcard win over Philadelphia. Adams was trying to pull a player out of a pile, which would have drawn a penalty when Arians attempted to stop him. Eagles GM Howie Roseman says that heading into this offseason, the mindset of the team is that Jalen Hurts will be their starting quarterback in 2022.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU, Alabama, and hoops.
Hump day.
Nate Oates can get the F out of here.
It's hump day.
What was that all about anyway?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Kind of rude.
Hump day.
Triggered.
It's hump day.
Threatened.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Punk.
Hump day.
General's coming for you, bruh.
It's hump day.
Hide the women and children.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's time to boot the F up.
Hump day.
Tired of losing to Bama.
It's hump day.
Not just in football.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
In everything.
Hump day.
In anything.
It's hump day.
Mel Kiper's got a mock draft out.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I hate it.
Hump day.
Sean Salisbury in hour 3.
It's hump day.
Man, we got a lot to do. Lot to do. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hump Day edition of AFR. Need a place to watch that hoops game tonight. Of course, you can get by Pluckers. Huge opportunity for LSU. We'll talk some hoops in about 15 minutes from right now. I do want to get a little bit into the into this basketball game tonight with LSU and Alabama. What's on the line for both teams and what it's going to take for LSU to get over the hump at a place where they just haven't had a lot of success over the years. I know it's a topic we've talked about. We talk literally every year LSU go plays in Tuscaloosa. We ask this question, why do they struggle so much at Coleman Coliseum? We'll dive into it. I don't have the answer, by the way. I don't. But we'll dive a little deeper into it coming up here in about 10 minutes from right now. So I want to start, now that LSU has 11 transfers in the portal and not really slowing down. They're going to have more because they have more spots to fill and they've got to fill out a roster. And yes, they're going to be high school signees 2 weeks from today, by the way, February the 2nd, National Signing Day. They're going to add more players via the transfer portal. I don't even think that's a question. So I kind of was looking that since there was this news dump with all these players over the last 4 or 5 days joining this LSU class, and a little bit of an opportunity now to reassess, take a breath. I wanted to sort of look at the landscape and this roster and see what holes remain and what they need to address. So I'll give you my positions of need that I see remaining for LSU. You can let me know if you agree or disagree. Number one, top of the list, not even a question, as bizarre as it is, the number one need on this team is cornerback. And for a team and a program that has established itself as DBU and cycling through guys like Patrick Peterson and Morris Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu and Tre'Davious White and Dante Jackson and Greedy Williams and Christian Fulton and Derek Stingley, it is odd. It is so odd to be sitting here today looking at LSU's cornerback depth or lack thereof. But this is it, y'all. They have Demarius McGee, who before the bowl game, and I will own this, before the bowl game, when they were running out dudes, we didn't know who they were. I legit didn't even remember if Demarius McGee was a scholarship signee the year before or if he was a walk-on. I didn't even remember. That's how far down the depth chart he was when you entered a season with Ricks and Stingley and then McLaughlin and Flott and then Sage Ryan as a nickel and Jay Ward hanging around and guys like Radarius Jones and Darren Evans. I mean, not an afterthought, a non-thought. And right now, Demarius McGee and Radarius Jones are your only two cornerbacks currently right now on the roster at LSU. Scholarship cornerbacks. That's it. Now, you signed LaTerrence Welsh and Jordan Allen in the early signing period. That gives you 4. That ain't enough. Not even close. And there are ways that they may be able to manipulate the roster a little bit. For example, maybe Jay Ward goes back to cornerback. They could. Jay Ward played safety out of necessity. Well, you got numbers at safety now. Perhaps Jay Ward can come play that outside cornerback spot. Sage Ryan, potentially, could be a guy that could play cornerback because you have numbers at safety. You added Greg Brooks from Arkansas, who's a nickel guy, which is where Sage Ryan played this year. So Sage Ryan can either play safety or corner. You also added Joe Fouché, who's a box safety, a downhill player who can help against the run. That's like having a third safety on the field. Like that a lot. But my point is, you moved Jay Ward to safety out of necessity because you didn't have safeties this year. Well, now you have depth at that spot. Maybe because of necessity, you can move Jay Ward back to corner. But even still, that doesn't solve the issue. They've got to go heavy at cornerback and find somebody that can step in and be an immediate contributor at outside, at boundary cornerback, unless if they're planning to do that with Ward and Brooks and Sage Ryan potentially. That could fortify your numbers there if that's the direction that they elect to go. Cornerback for me is the number one spot, the number one biggest need on this team. Number two, and this may surprise you a little bit, but I look at it and I say number two is tight end. And there's a specific reason. Aside from the fact that last year you had a receiver playing tight end in Jack Besh, and you had a former high school quarterback walk-on playing tight end. With all the respect in the world to Jack Mashburn, he was one of the really good stories last year. As LSU developed a running game, and part of it was because they had an attached tight end / H-back that could give them some production from that spot, and that's what Mashburn did. But I look at Brian Kelly, and we've talked about this a bunch, but he has 8. He had 8 tight ends drafted during his time at Notre Dame. 8 tight ends drafted during his time at Notre Dame. In its history, LSU's got about a dozen drafted. It's a stunning number. Brian Kelly wants to use his tight end. He gets production out of his tight end. I don't know that I could tell you that I think Cole Taylor is going to be a good player there. Jack Besh isn't a tight end. He's a wide receiver and needs to play as such. And if you go into this season counting on Jack Mashburn, I don't think that's enough. I mean, this past year, Jack Besh was a receiver. You essentially sort of nix him from this conversation. Cole Taylor had 6 catches last year, and Jack Mashburn had 4. So your tight ends, true tight ends, combined for 10 receptions. I know there's the tight end out of New Iberia that they've offered, and maybe as a freshman he could step in. And you did sign Mason Taylor as a freshman out of Florida, son of Jason Taylor, former NFL player. Maybe those guys can step in and immediately give you some help, but you need help at tight end as well because of how much Brian Kelly uses the tight end. And number 3, I'm going to say is quarterback. We can all be super high on Miles Brennan, and I'm excited to see Miles, provided he could stay healthy and play a full season as a fifth-year guy. I'm excited about it, about the potential of it. But you've got Brennan, who started 3 career games. Garrett Nussmeier, who hasn't started any, he's played in 4 career games. And a true freshman in Walker Howard. Now, we could be super pumped about the prospect, the future of Walker Howard. We could be really excited to see what Garrett Nussmeier might be able to bring. And we could be excited about the story that is Miles Brennan, waiting his turn, leaving, now coming back. The reality is none of those guys have played. None of those guys have proven it at the college level that they can play at this level. And we've also seen each of the last 2 years, LSU has used 3 quarterbacks each of the last 2 years. You hope it's a Joe Burrow situation where one guy takes the reign and he's that guy the whole year and it's not even a question. But we've just seen the opposite be true. So if there's another body that you can add at that position, then I would love to see them add depth at that spot if there's a guy who you feel could come in, even if it's someone that had to sit and compete or sit and wait, however it may go down, because even beyond this year, I think we can all readily agree that it's unlikely Garrett Nussmeier, Walker Howard both stay at LSU for 4 or 5 years. It's just not the nature of the position. The last quarterback who came to LSU as a freshman and finished his eligibility was Jordan Jefferson. Guys don't stay at that position, so you have to always be thinking, how can I add more bodies, more numbers at that spot? Those are the top 3 for me. The next tier would be defensive end. And look, if we get word on Ali Gay, that's obviously a huge boost. But Gay Ojolari would be great. But behind that, it's Sony Fanua, Xavier Carter. You got Jarrell Cherry, guys who we've just been waiting to see. And then there's the interesting part about Quincy Wiggins, what role he plays on this defense. You could always kick Mason Smith out and play in. So they have options there. It's not as dire. And in getting Baskerville back and signing West Weeks out of the portal, that's solidified linebacker a little more, so bump that down. Wide receiver, you need numbers there, but you have enough talent. So those are really the positions that I look at. Notice I didn't mention offensive line because you have enough numbers there. Whether or not you have enough guys that are going to congeal and make a great, dominant SEC line, that remains to be seen. But numbers on your offensive line, you got. Numbers at defensive tackle, you've got. Numbers at safety, you've got. You really need to work at numbers at corner. You could certainly use a tight end, and you could always use another quarterback, just the way that I'm looking at it here. As LSU's starting to put the finishing touches, 2 weeks to go before signing day on this 2022 roster. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. You can always join the show. You can email us. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona, the Bayou Ford.
Twitter world.
Thank you, Juice. Bayou Ford YouTube chat is there. You can always text the show in the 225 at 396-4400. 396-4400. You can text me. That's an app on my phone called Community. It goes directly to my phone. You can text me any time of day, whenever you want. 225-936-4400, 936-4400. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We will delve a little deeper into the LSU-Alabama game when we return. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you need dinner plans tonight, always great option to make it an Ichiban night. Essen near Perkins. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. How about Moscona roll? Maybe you're going to watch the basketball game at home tonight. I mean, it's 3:15. Think of it this way. You're going to knock off work at 5, call Ichiban, or log on to the website at ichibanbr.com. You can place your order there on the website at ichibanbr.com. Place your order or place your order. Pay for it over the phone or online. And then when you pull up to the store, call the number there on the parking spot. Boom, they'll bring the order out to you, and you can have a completely contactless experience at Ichiban. And remember, from our friends at Ichiban, their latest concept, Bo-Ru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Authentic Japanese ramen, perfect on a night like tonight. Get it to go or to enjoy it there on premises. Ichiban or Boru Ramen.
This is former LSU pitcher and avid outdoorsman Ben McDonald. If you're looking for that perfect hunting property or raw land out in the
those
country,
willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Rolling along, we spent that first segment talking a little bit about transfer portal and positions of need right now in the portal for LSU, or just positions of need on the roster. And there was a question from John Jones, actually spelled like the MMA fighter, Jon, John Jones, via text. Said, are there any good DBs in the transfer portal? So this is where it gets a little sticky, right? And this is the part that's the giant kick in the gonads. Go look at, so this is 247 Sports ranks by position every transfer. The top defensive back in the portal this year, Elias Ricks, leaving LSU going to Bama. The number 2 defensive back is Brandon Joseph, a safety, who's leaving Northwestern going to Notre Dame. The number 3 defensive back, Dwight McGlothern, leaving LSU going to Arkansas. So that's of the top 3 defensive backs in the portal who transferred. The top 2 corners are both LSU players. They left your school for teams in your division. that's the giant kick in the balls. Excuse me, I'm being a little blunt there. So, I mean, you look at other players. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know every defensive back in all of college football that's in the portal. There's like 3,000 players total in the transfer portal. But Jalen Kimber is a cornerback who transferred from Georgia to Florida. Marcus Banks, if you remember, he was a one-time LSU commit. His dad played football at Florida State. He decommitted from LSU, ultimately signed with Alabama. He's left Alabama. He's going to Mississippi State. Ladarius Tennyson leaving Auburn for Ole Miss. Lots of guys who are transferring within the conference. Like the highest rated cornerback that's uncommitted right now is Latrell McCutcheon, who's transferring out of Oklahoma, and he doesn't yet have a destination. 4-star corner. I mean, could that be an option? Maybe. Like that's the highest rated cornerback remaining right now that's in the transfer portal. You're wondering where they're going to go. So, I mean, could LSU make a play? You hope so. Eric Reed is a cornerback who's transferred out of Auburn, didn't play much during his time there on the Plains. He still has an undecided destination. So they're just, you're at the point in the process where you wonder why guys. A lot of people have asked, why did guys enter the transfer portal so early? Why did Elias Ricks, or why would anybody enter the portal during the season? This is why. Because regardless of how many players are in the portal, teams still only have 85 scholarships. You still only have 85 scholarship spots. So if a team is in need and they see a guy in the portal and they go address that need and you don't enter the portal till later, well, that could have been your spot. Maybe they would have preferred you, but they already filled the spot. So, I mean, that's the tricky part right now. While you've waited, not waited so long, but you are so far down the process right now that there isn't a very obvious option because some of the best options have picked schools. And Dwight McGlothern was a late, defection. So it's a very clear need right now for Brian Kelly, for the staff, for Kerry Cooks, for the defensive backs coach, for Robert Steeples, who's working with the DBs as well. I mean, those guys got to get busy. They've got to address cornerback. Just have to. But it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. We'll talk LSU, Alabama. Do that here in just a quick second. gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, gmfsmortgage.com. If your rate is above a 4, or if you don't even know what your rate is, it's been that long since you checked, chances are you would benefit from a refi. gmfsmortgage.com. Get in touch with a local loan officer near you and see if they could save you money on your monthly mortgage payment. Shorten the life of your mortgage. Skip a payment or two. Eric and I did all this last February, so it's been a year. We save $400 a month on our mortgage, shorten our mortgage by 5 years, the life of our mortgage, and we skipped 2 payments. It was incredible. They could help you as well. gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, I hate this game tonight with LSU and Alabama. I swear I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on it, y'all. I am hopeful. I am not optimistic. And I understand when I look at this Alabama team, I'm looking at an Alabama team that at one point this year was in the top 10, but has lost 3 in a row and is sitting at 11-6 overall and 2-3 in the league. They're desperate. In the similar way that Arkansas was desperate coming in here on Saturday, Bama at 2-3 in the league, having lost 3 in a row, they got to protect home floor. And it's a home floor where LSU has been downright miserable over the years. I was having this conversation today with, I had lunch with Terrio, and we were talking about it. He's like, why are they struggled so bad at Coleman Coliseum? I don't have the answer. I mean, the 2006 Final Four team lost to Alabama at Coleman Coliseum. Some of the best LSU teams that they've had in the last quarter century have lost at Coleman Coliseum. It's almost inexplicable. Now, LSU did win there in 2019. They won there in 2016 as well, which broke a long streak. Prior to that, they hadn't won there since 2004. I've asked John Brady. I've asked guys like Darnell Lazare. I've asked Garrett Temple. I've asked so many guys who played basketball at LSU why it's so hard to win at Coleman Coliseum, and nobody has a great answer. Like, I understand why LSU has an all-time losing record at Rupp Arena. Kentucky's the best basketball school in the league. That's a big venue where it's hard to play, and LSU's had long stretches of mediocre to bad basketball. You would expect it to be a one-sided series overall, and certainly at Rupp Arena. Alabama ain't done nothing, y'all. I mean, that's the perplexing part about it over the history of this series, is that Alabama has had stretches of nice players and good teams. Obviously, they won the SEC tournament a year ago. But in their history, I mean, they made one Elite Eight in 2004. I'm looking at it right here. They've been to the Sweet 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nine Sweet 16 appearances, one Elite Eight appearance. I mean, it's not like this is a team or program that has churned out major NBA prospects throughout their history that have just been tough to tangle with. I mean, yeah, they were good under Anthony Grant, but certainly not what they anticipated when they brought him in from VCU as a defensive guy. They thought they'd be much better under Avery Johnson, although he got some talent there. Mark Gottfried had some nice seasons, but they ebbed and flowed. I mean, they haven't been consistently relevant since Wimp Sanderson was there. It's just, but for whatever reason, that venue's has been tough. Like, oh no, it was T-Bob. We were doing Scone and Tea this morning. We were talking about it. Like, when you play at Vanderbilt and you play at Memorial Gym, you know why that venue is difficult. It's the fans are really far back from the floor. The benches are on the baseline, so the coach is, you know, when the action's at the opposite end, the coach is at the other end of the floor. It's hard to give instruction. You're just sort of out of sorts. The sight lines are weird. I get why Memorial Gym is a hard place for visiting teams. I don't get it with Coleman Coliseum. I mean, it's not. I don't get it. I have no answer why it's been that way. It's just one of these statistical anomalies why LSU has just struggled to go and win in that venue. But they're going to have to try to do it today. And you know, this is last year, of course, LSU was 0-3 in their 3 games against Bama. They played the home and home, and then they played in the SEC tournament final. And if you don't recall, this is how the SEC tournament final ended.
To Watford, and they are running out of time with 3 on the shot. Watford, short, rebound, put back, no good. No, it will not go in. They had a couple of chances. Alabama wins the SEC championship.
That was a night where Trendon Watford scored 30 against his home state school. He was so dominant. That late shot was very short. Andre Hyatt had a tip back, hit the back of the rim, wouldn't go, and Alabama won the SEC tournament championship. And that's when Nate Oates yelled at LSU to get the F out of here, which I have no idea what has triggered Nate Oates with Will Wade. But earlier in that year, Bama came to Baton Rouge and won 105-75. They won by 30. John Petty had 24 points. It was all threes. He had 8 threes in the ballgame. 8 threes, 24 points. In Tuscaloosa, Bama won by 18 last year. It was 78-60. Jaden Shackelford had 19 points that game. And then in the game we just referenced there, the SEC Tournament Championship game, it was Herb Jones who hit the game winner for Bama, would prove to be the game winner for Bama with under 10 seconds to play. The good news if you're LSU, John Petty ain't there tonight, and Herb Jones is playing for the Pelicans. So neither of those guys are there. But Jaden Shackelford is one of the top scorers in the SEC's top 5 in the SEC in scoring. Javon Quinterly is there as well. Another guy averages about 14 a night. I mean, they are the head of the snake. So you're going to have to limit what those guys can do in this ballgame tonight. Alabama is a team that can certainly fill it up. They're second in the conference at 81 points a game, just a hair under 82 points a game. The flip side of it is they're second to last in scoring defense. This is a Bama team that statistically looks a lot like LSU did a year ago, where LSU could fill it up. They averaged 84 a night, but, man, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. And this LSU team is defensively elite, allowing 57 points a game. That's first in the SEC. That's top 5 in the country. Offensively, LSU's in the middle of the pack right now at 75 a game, but we know that number is actually in the 60s in conference play as they've struggled. I will be fascinated to see if Xavier Pinson is able to go tonight, if he's able to give LSU anything without him. LSU is going to have to find a way to be more fluid offensively, and I don't know that they can do it. Again, when you look at this game on paper, there's so many reasons to say LSU defensively, all the talent, Bama's on a 3-game losing streak. They should be able to go win this game. And I'm not saying they can't win the game. I just look at the historic struggles in that venue. I look at this LSU team without Xavier Pinson. If they turn the ball over in Tuscaloosa tonight, it's not going to go LSU's way. So here's hoping they can protect the basketball. They can get a little more efficiency on the offensive end. You know LSU's defense is going to travel. They're going to be great because they're always, what's the number, 14 straight? The opponent team totals have gone under. Do you know if that's the number, Muse? Is it 14 straight?
It's 14 out of 17.
14 out of 17 they've held under the team. I mean, the Vegas projected points total for the opponent, LSU's held them under 14 of the 17. LSU defensively is going to show up. Home, away, neutral, that travels. You got to be able to get some points offensively and limit the turnover. So hopefully they can do it. That's a 6 o'clock tip, so we're about 2.5 hours away. You need a place to watch. Of course, you can get by Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Great spot to watch all of your LSU basketball game. Trivia tonight at 8 o'clock as well. Okay, we'll go around the SEC. Taylor Calandro will have Bourbon Dictionary coming up. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. For the Baton Rouge General Hospital, where, of course, they feature the Mako robot, not only for knee replacement surgery, but for so many different types of robotic surgery, which people always ask, so a robot's doing the surgery? No. A robot's not doing the surgery, but the robotic arm and that technology assists the surgeon for more precise incisions, which means less downtime. It's incredible. Check it out. You can go to brgeneral.org, hit the surgery tab, and see all of the options that they have. The robotic surgery link is right there on the surgery tab, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Tell you all the time that they're expanding healthcare in the greater Baton Rouge area. Part of that means the Mayo Clinic Care Network, one of the foremost medical centers in the world. Your local physician has clinical collaboration and expert access to the Mayo Clinic at no extra charge to you. brgeneral.org.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Man, I want to give a big hat tip to Alex Bregman. If you haven't seen this story, it's on social media. There was a mother in Houston who around Christmas was she was going to Katy, Texas. You can show this, Paulie. She was going to Katy, Texas, where Bregman and his wife Reagan were giving away toys during the holidays. And she had to Uber because she didn't have a car. She had to Uber to this giveaway. Well, Bregman and his wife Reagan decided to help this woman named Caroline. She's a mother of 3, and she had lost full custody of her kids because she didn't have a vehicle or a place to live. They bought her a vehicle and got her an apartment and paid the first year's rent for her at the apartment. So she has custody of her children again now because of the Bregmans. Y'all, I've told you this before. Look, I hope Alex Bregman goes on to a Hall of Fame career and is awesome and breaks every record and all that stuff. But on a personal level, I don't care if he goes and lives in a monastery and becomes a monk on a mountain somewhere. I'm always going to love the guy because that's his generous heart. He did something similar for my family when I barely knew him, when Drew was very sick, and it doesn't surprise me at all to see this. It's just the kind of person that he is. So for whatever the perception is, or if you have no perception, I don't know, understand that stories like this, that's who that guy is. So, man, saw that today and just wanted to give him a big attaboy. If you haven't seen, and it's not something that he did to be public, it's just the news, the Channel 26 in Houston found out about it and went and covered the story. It's not something that they just blasted out there on social media or anything, but, awesome. Just wanted to spread a little joy and let y'all know of a good deed done by some really good people. So, attaboy to Bregman, to Alex and Reagan Bregman. All right, it's after further review. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Florida's on-field staff is almost complete. The second of the co-defensive coordinator spots is now filled. Giants defensive line coach Sean Spencer is joining Billy Napier's staff. Spencer will be co-DC with Patrick Toney, who joined Napier from ULL. Spencer had accepted a job on Mike Elko's staff at Duke as co-DC, but then Billy Napier came calling, so he decided to jump into the SEC. Spent the last 2 seasons with the Giants. Previously had been with James Franklin at Penn State and Vanderbilt.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas running back Treeland Smith has entered the NCAA transfer portal. He indicated that he would not be returning to Arkansas after the team's victory in the Outback Bowl. He transferred to Arkansas from Arizona State back in 2019, sat out 2019, led the team in rushing in 2020, and then lost his job this year amid a shuffle of players. But Treeland Smith in the transfer portal.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Defensive back Keidron Smith has entered the transfer portal. He leaves Ole Miss with 1 season of eligibility remaining. 6'2", 210-pound defensive back. Finished 5th on the team in tackles with 64. Averaged about 5 tackles a game. Played all 13 games for the Rebs.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama offensive lineman and tight end, weird combo, Kendall Randolph is returning for 2022. That's his 6th season in Tuscaloosa. He's been a really versatile offensive lineman. So he's played guard, tackle, and blocking tight end. He's the guy that sometimes actually have to switch his jersey from number 60 to number 85, depending which position he was playing. Randolph could compete for a starting role on the offensive line. That's losing both starting offensive tackles this year to the draft.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn is signing Eugene Asante. He's a North Carolina transfer, was a 4-star recruit and a top 20 outside linebacker in the country when he was coming out of high school. He'll have 2 years of eligibility remaining. This helps boost an Auburn team that's already lost 8 players to the transfer portal.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Coastal Carolina kicker Massimo Biscardi. He'll play his final season in Stark Vegas, baby. Clang'a. Biscardi played 4 seasons at Coastal Carolina. One of the most accurate kickers in the Sun Belt. Get this. And remember, Mike Leach, after a game this year, said, remember when he's like, we're holding open tryouts if anyone wants to come kick for us? Totally just kicked his kickers to the curb. Nolan McCord and Brandon Ruiz combined to make 56% of their field goals. Biscardi made 87.5% of his field goals this year for Coastal Carolina. An upgrade, to say the least, for Mississippi State. Also, Tennessee beat Vanderbilt in basketball last night. They stink. Kennedy Chandler had 13 and 4. Vanderbilt stinks, I should say. Scottie Pippen's good, though. Arkansas held serve at home, blowing out South Carolina 75-59. And Mizzou went on the road and beat Ole Miss 78-53. It was Amari Davis with 23 points for the Missouri Tigers. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. Remember, February the 7th is when we are drawing for the last game for Courtside for Charity. You want to sit on the floor for an NBA game? You want to sit in chairs, floor seats, mid-court to watch the Pelicans and the Rockets on Feb 8? Go buy your raffle tickets. Remember, all the money raised is benefiting 4 great local charities. It's $20 a ticket. So even if you don't win, guess what? You're helping great local charities. 1045ESPN.com. Go to 1045ESPN.com. You'll see Courtside for Charity right there. By the way, $100 will get you 6 tickets. $250 will get you 15 tickets. So please go, be generous, and get your raffle tickets right now. Courtside for Charity at 1045ESPN.com, courtesy of Gulf Coast Office Products. Okay, y'all, we'll wrap up hour number 1 when we return. Taylor Calandro will be with us for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Got booze questions. You can get them in. Do so now. Email us, tweet us at Matt Moscona, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text us in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Bourbon Dictionary is next.
AFR.
Y'all, we're about 2 hours and 17 minutes away from tip-off, LSU and Bammer, and you need a place to watch. No better place than Pluckers. Why? Because they got TVs everywhere. Well, Matt, there's a lot of places that have TVs. That's true. They don't have award-winning jumbo chicken wings, do they? 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. You know what else they have? Ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. No matter where you go, you'll always have an unobstructed view of the game. Even when you go to the bathroom, you stand at the urinal at Pluckers. They got a TV above the urinal. You know, the Bluebonnet location, they got a TV inside of the mirror. So when you're washing your hands, and you better wash your hands, you can even watch the game there. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery via Uber Eats, DoorDash. Remember, of course, get there early. Trivia tonight at 8 o'clock. So watch the game, play some trivia, have a great night at Pluckers. Where, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150, plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe. both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, let's get it. You know the drill. You got a question about booze, ask it to our guy, Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's. He is Taylor Calandro joining us now. How are you, dude?
Good, Matt. What's up?
Well, you know, just doing a radio show, preparing for LSU Alabama tonight. Hopeful, if not altogether optimistic. And then a little nightcap with Scone tonight on my YouTube channel where I'll be sipping some wonderful whiskey. What are you doing?
I'm getting prepared for the LSU game myself. Huge game tonight.
I'm pretty excited. Are you at all optimistic?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I think they need a rebound game tonight.
Yeah, but Bama's lost 3 in a row, and they're in a little bit of a desperate spot, too. So a couple of desperate teams. We'll see how it goes. Hey, what's going on over at Calandro's? Anything new?
Oh, big time. Well, we sold through the Buffalo Trace barrel that I talked about last week for the day.
Wait, you said it in a day?
Yeah, we got it Friday, and it was gone Friday.
Well, I missed that one, unfortunately. But I do have some Buffalo Trace barrel picks, so I'm okay.
Yeah, and so this Friday at 12 o'clock, we're going to be releasing our Four Roses barrel.
Oh, so this Friday at what time?
12 noon.
All right, this Friday at 12 noon. So we're a little less than 48 hours away from that. At both locations or just at Perkins?
I don't know if Government Street got any. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to post something on social media later today about it.
Okay.
Definitely Perkins Road for noon. I'm not sure about Government Street. I think it all came to us at Perkins Road.
Can you explain the significance of a Four Roses barrel pick?
Well, I mean, they are very scarce now. I mean, barrel picks in general are hard to get, but from my understanding, this is the second barrel in the state for the whole year. The first one was at Audubon Market in St. Francisville way earlier in 2021, and they sold through that in a day in St. Francisville. So we're going to have about 160-ish bottles. It's going to be a one bottle per person limit, and I expect it to sell out within an hour.
Yeah, it'll be gone. It's like you will have a line and it'll be gone. So that's a little breaking news there. So if you want the Four Roses barrel pick from Calandro's, Friday noon is when it'll go on sale. Well, that's fun. That's exciting. What else is new over there?
That about wraps it up. I mean, we've got some a couple new bourbons in. Last week we got the Still Austin Cash Strength. If you haven't had anything from Still Austin, they have been putting out some really good stuff, and we just got the Cash Strength in last week. So I highly suggest that comes.
Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate a little there? Because someone sent me a picture of it, and I'm not familiar. So can you kind of elaborate a little bit on what it is? Maybe some of the profile there.
Yeah, I mean, the Cash Strength's just a big, full flavored bourbon. I've tried some other expressions from them. They're fairly young, the liquid itself, but it's super, super solid juice, and it's relatively good price too. I think it's around $53 for a Cash Strength. So okay. It's one of the good up and coming small distilleries out there.
So I'm looking at this here on their Twitter, where their banner on Twitter has the label where they won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Which is that's a legit big competition too. That's not like some Yoko whatever whiskey writer competition. That's a big time competition. So, the stuff I've tried from has been very good. So.
Typically, whenever a whiskey wins something like that, that's whenever they start to boom a little bit, right? That's what happened with McKenna. McKenna 10.
Old Elk has won some awards there too, and it's big time San Francisco Wine and Spirits Festival.
All right, let's dive into some of these questions. We'll start with one from Craig Dugas via text, who said, "Ask Taylor if you have or plan on getting any Russell's Reserve single barrel picks in the near future."
We picked one. We actually picked one a while ago, and it got lost. The whole barrel got lost.
What do you mean it got lost? Who lost it?
Good question. I don't know. Our distributor lost the whole barrel, and I think it got damaged with Hurricane Ida. So we repicked the barrel, and that should be coming down the pipe in the next couple months, I would expect it to.
Okay, well, that's exciting. Rusty Gomez said, when do raffle tickets go on sale?
We're going to try to put out a social media post tomorrow or Friday. I think we're going to plan on starting to sell tickets next week, so basically a week out.
But by the way, give us the rundown again. Give us the rundown again on the raffle for those that missed it.
So the raffle's Thursday, February 3rd. It's going to be virtual. We will have tickets available at both locations. The specifics of tickets we haven't quite worked out. It's probably going to be very similar to last year, though, where you buy a bulk and get a bulk discount if you buy bulk. And I'm trying to think what else. There's going to be a watch party at Oliver Twist. They're going to be offering. They're going to be streaming the raffle on all their TVs, and they're going to be offering whiskey flights and different drink specials that night too.
Okay.
So
let's see. This is from Bailey Bro. Best places in Baton Rouge to sample bourbons.
As I just mentioned, Oliver Twist. He's got a great selection over there. Hayride Scandal's got a great selection. The Lost
Cove, yeah.
Lost Cove has a really good selection too. Those three spots are really the whiskey spots in town to go try stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's worth saying, and I recommend this to anybody who's just starting out. Before you ever buy a bottle of something, try it first. Because that's especially when you're just getting into it, that's how you end up with bottles that just sit on your shelf for months or years and never get drank because you buy something that you don't actually end up liking. So
I always encourage people to go to bars and try stuff. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more, but would you rather pay a little bit more for a pour than pay for a whole bottle and be stuck and hung with the whole bottle if you don't end up liking it.
Absolutely. Ask Taylor, thoughts on Noah's Mill?
I love Noah's Mill. That's a Willett product. It's a great $45 bourbon. Don't pass it up if you've never had it. It's a solid pour for sure.
Dustin Blanchard asked Taylor, is Elmer T. Lee available in store or only in the raffle?
That is only in the raffle. And I think we're going to have a few bottles in the raffle.
Good.
We've compiled a pretty good, pretty solid raffle list, and I'm going to be releasing that in the next week or so too.
Very good. He is Taylor Calandro, Wine Spirits Director over at Calandro's 2 locations in Baton Rouge. And spread the word Friday noon, or don't spread the word. Keep it all to yourself. Friday noon, the Four Roses barrel pick will go on sale. All right, man. We appreciate it as always. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, Matt. Good Tigers.
All right, we appreciate it. That is Taylor Calandro. This is After Further Review. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, we are at that point of the year where so many people with New Year's resolutions are resolving to lose weight. If that's you and you're looking for something that will work well for you, how about Ideal Protein? Ideal Protein is a ketogenic medical-grade weight loss program. And when you go to the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, all this month, totally free consultations. Learn more about it and how they will keep you motivated throughout the process to reach your ideal weight and to keep it off. It's at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. As always, hormone replacement therapy. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. It is an affordable way to get you feeling like your younger self. Learn more, theantiagingclinics.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150, plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story, Titans running back Derrick Henry continuing to make progress ahead of Saturday's AFC divisional playoff game versus the Bengals. He responded well to the contact in practice, key in his comeback from a fractured foot. A decision on whether he plays this weekend expected to come on Friday. The concerns remain for the Buccaneers when it comes to their offensive line. All-pro right tackle Tristan Wirfs and center Ryan Jensen both dealing with ankle sprains. It'll likely go down to the wire before decisions made if they play in the NFC divisional playoff game against the Rams on Sunday. The O-line injuries certainly changed the playbook drastically for Tampa, points out ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
You have to get the ball out quickly, obviously. A guy like Leonard Fournette will be helpful for that if he's healthy and he's back. But a guy like AB would have been great for that. A guy like Godwin would have been great for that. Mike Evans isn't particularly built for that. He's a big, rangy guy who can get a head of steam going if you give him some room, but he's a downfield type of receiver.
Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians appealing his $50,000 fine by the NFL for swiping his hand at safety Andrew Adams' helmet during the NFC wildcard win over the Eagles on Sunday.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Sean Salisbury, 1 hour from right now. Looking forward to talking some NFL playoffs, maybe the future of the Saints at the quarterback position, something we've done quite a bit with Sean over the last several months. But we've been thrilled to have him on board with us here this football season, and we'll take you for a few more weeks, obviously, through the NFL playoffs. Glad you're here. It's AFR. Of course, LSU basketball, big one tonight against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Pluckers would be a great place to watch. We're about 2 hours from tip. So we are officially now moving toward NFL draft season for the majority of the NFL. And that, of course, means mock drafts. And there's something that's brewing that's a bit concerning for me. And it's the likelihood of the New Orleans Saints drafting Kenny Pickett. We told you last week that there was a USA Today mock draft that had the Saints taking Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett. Well, today, Mel Kiper has released his first mock draft for the 2022 NFL Draft. And 18th overall, he has the New Orleans Saints taking Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett. He notes the Saints' success at the end of the year. Obviously, though, being subpar after Jameis tore his ACL. He mentions Taysom, who, an underrated part of what we talk about with Taysom Hill is his age. Taysom's going to be 32 at the start of next year. And he has obviously battled injuries. Every year of his career, I'm only taking the Taysom thing somewhat seriously because the Saints have given him a contract that suggests we should at least consider the possibility, albeit I don't think it's realistic. So it's not going to be Taysom, but Kiper writes, that's why I see Pickett, who's coming off an efficient 42-touchdown, 7-interception season, as the perfect fit for New Orleans. He took a huge leap in 2021, showing off pinpoint accuracy to every area of the field. He started 49 games in college, so he can play right away for a team that wants to compete for the playoffs. The biggest question I've heard from people in the NFL is one that you might laugh at: hand size. Pickett has small hands. We'll find out the exact size at the Senior Bowl soon. That matters to the teams doing the drafting. If he can play his home games in a dome in New Orleans, that's a plus. So Mel Kiper has the Saints going. Kenny Pickett, the quarterback out of Pitt, 18th overall. I'll reiterate right now what I've said prior about Kenny Pickett, and it's no great disrespect to Kenny Pickett in particular, but the Saints are still very much in win-now mode. They've built their roster as such. When you look across the entirety of the roster, it's not a roster that needs to be rebuilt. When healthy, you have franchise bookend tackles. I understand Teron Armstead is a free agent this year, so you may have need for a left tackle if Teron Armstead walks in free agency. You've got an elite center at Eric McCoy, one of the most dynamic offensive playmakers in the game, and Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, when he's healthy, had the single greatest receiving season in the history of the NFL, by receptions anyway. Shattered Marvin Harrison's record. Defensively, you're one of the top defenses in the NFL, and most of that talent is young talent that's coming back. You have a decision to make about Marcus Davenport, who just finished his 5th year, so he's a pending free agent, but an impending free agent. But Cam Jordan drank from the fountain of youth after he got the COVIDs. I could use a few more interior line players. Remains to see what Peyton Turner will become. You've got a dynamic linebacker core, and we're very excited about Pete Werner, his development. One of the dynamic young cornerbacks in the league in Marshawn Lattimore. You've got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Certainly a decision to make what you're going to do with guys like Courtney Roby and with Marcus Williams, but I suspect Williams will be back. Point is, this isn't a roster that needs to be rebuilt. It's a roster that needs depth. But they're still very much in contention. You put the right signal caller in place with this team, you are a contender in the NFC, especially this NFC right now. So using the 18th overall pick for a quarterback that isn't your plug-and-play guy, and as I suspect Pickett would not be, is hard to stomach. I will mention again, and the stance that I've had and will continue to tell you and reiterate is, if Sean Payton evaluates Kenny Pickett and decides that's my guy, I'm good with it. I'm good with it because I trust Sean Payton's evaluation of a quarterback. And I know some are going to say, well, look at the quarterbacks he's drafted. I mean, there's Sean Canfield, and there's Tommy Stevens, and there's Garrett Grayson. And all of that is true, but he's never used a first-round pick on a guy that's a franchise quarterback. It's Ian Book in round 4 as a project. And I'm okay with that. If there's a guy you want to take a flyer on in the 4th round to see if he could become Russell Wilson, okay, let's roll. Or Dak Prescott, okay, let's roll. And maybe if you steal a franchise quarterback in the middle rounds, great. Not likely to happen, but it could. But if you're going to invest a first-round pick, especially when you're at a point with your franchise where you are still contending, that's hard to wrap your head around. In particular, when you look at Kiper's draft, and while he's got the Saints going quarterback with Pickett at 18 overall, the really tough part, if I said, hey, what's the biggest issue the Saints had this year? What was the biggest position of need where they were the absolute thinnest and worst maybe in the NFL? It was receiver. One pick after Kiper has the Saints taking Kenny Pickett, he's got the Eagles, who drafted a receiver this past year, by the way. Got the Eagles taking Chris Olave, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. So if you got Chris Olave on the board and you go Kenny Pickett, I'm going to struggle with that. And the even tougher part for me personally is one pick after Olave at 20 overall. They've got the Steelers drafting Ben Roethlisberger's successor, and that's Matt Corral. The one quarterback in this draft for me personally that I would say I'm good using a first-round pick on that guy is Corral. And that doesn't come without questions because Matt Corral is a smaller guy, and you legitimately would have to worry about injuries being a thing there. I mean, I think that's legitimate, but I think he's kind of got the moxie, the attitude, and the ability in the modern NFL to be a guy. Now, the big surprise in this draft, there's really two enormous surprises. Kiper's got Aiden Hutchinson going 1 overall to Jacksonville, Kayvon Thibodeau 2 to Detroit, Evan Neal 3 to the Texans, Kyle Hamilton 4 to the Jets. And that's the spot where we've seen most mock drafts have Derek Stingley, not Mel Kiper. Derek Stingley, Mel Kiper is projecting, does take a little bit of a tumble in this draft. Kiper's got Stingley going 8th overall, dropping all the way to 8. And keep in mind, with every spot that you fall in the draft, it cost you about $1 million. So if Stingley was projected 4 and he goes from 4 to 8, that's going to cost him about $4 million up front if he drops that far. So some people wondered about Stingley playing for this defense this year and struggling early on. If he does in fact fall, it's going to cost him money. As opposed to Jamar Chase, who opted out, chose not to play, didn't affect him at all. Kiper points out of Stingley, this is one of the toughest calls of the entire mock draft. I thought hard about quarterback. Says my buddy Chris Mortensen, though, says the Falcons are committed to Matt Ryan for 2022, which means this might be too high to take a quarterback who's not going to play right away. Anyway, goes on to explain how we would have a cornerback like Stingley playing opposite A.J. Terrell there in Atlanta, and how Stingley looked like a potential number 1 pick as a true freshman dominating in 2019, but inconsistency and then the foot injury this year, playing just 3 games, says teams are going to have to take a little bit of a leap of faith because he hasn't been great since his freshman season back in 2019. So Stingley at 8 is one big surprise. The other, the first quarterback that Kiper has coming off the board is not Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral. It's Malik Willis from Liberty. 11 overall to the Washington football team. That, for me, that's very tough. You've got a guy that started his career at Auburn, transferred to Liberty. Stylistically, will that work in the NFL when you're not ideal size? I don't know. But you are starting to hear a lot of that, of Malik Willis rising up draft boards. I'll say right now what I felt in the summer when you first started to see the way too early mock drafts. The guys at the top of this draft, the quarterbacks at the top of this draft in the way too early mock drafts, remember who they were? Spencer Rattler and Sam Howell. Those are the 2 at the top of the draft. Spencer Rattler lost his job and is now at South Carolina, and Kiper's got Sam Howell going 28 overall to Detroit. So suffice to say, the gut feeling from people who actually watched a lot of college football on Rattler and Howell was pretty good, and I'm going to go ahead and say that my gut on these guys, I think, is pretty good as well. Now, yes, there are always guys who surprise. If it's Carson Wentz from North Dakota State, if it's Josh Allen coming from Wyoming, smaller school guys who we don't get to see a ton that really blossom during the draft evaluation, be it Pro Day or the Combine, or Senior Bowl, and they race up draft boards. And maybe that's Malik Willis. Maybe that will be that guy. But, brother, I'm going to tell you, I will have a tough time pulling the trigger on a quarterback in round 1 of this draft, no matter who the franchise is, certainly not New Orleans. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. When I say that, understand that's the highest safety designation a vehicle can get. So when you're driving in a Volkswagen, chances are you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. What peace of mind that gives you when you're driving, or if you're buying that first car for your child. What about a Jetta? It's affordable, it's stylish, has all the cool components that a young person would love to drive, but you have the peace of mind every time she or he buckles up in that vehicle. They're one of the safest vehicles on the road. Test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, it's after further review. College football lost a legend today. I have some thoughts on that coming up. Movement in the Title IX lawsuit. I guess this isn't actually the Title IX lawsuit, but part of that Title IX lawsuit. We have some movement there. We'll get to it. Overrated, underrated, Tigers and the pros. A lot to do this hour in Sean Salisbury in 45 minutes. Glad you're hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Tell you every single day about Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty, and how Darren James is among the top 1% of realtors in America. That's not my opinion. That's the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list of the top realtors in America based on volume, and Darren James in the top 1%. That's incredible. But I tell you all the time about how Darren spends more money marketing his properties, your listing, than any other realtor, spending thousands of dollars a month. But something else that really sets Darren apart is, remember that all commissions are negotiable. So if you're at a point where you're selling your home and you want to negotiate a commission, you can certainly do that with Darren as well. That's right, and he welcomes that conversation. The bottom line is Darren wants you to have a comfortable, enjoyable, remarkable, stress-free home buying or selling experience. If you need to sell your home, 335-7666 for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
You probably saw this report from Andrea Gallo at The Advocate. If you haven't, I'll fill you in real quickly. You might remember Ed Ogeron was one of nearly 20 people. There were 19 defendants named in a lawsuit that accused LSU officials of ignoring cases of gender discrimination, sexual misconduct. This was the civil lawsuit that was filed by 10 current and former LSU students in this past April is when they filed the lawsuit. This was filed simultaneously while LSU was going through the federal Title IX lawsuit as well. So Ed Ogeron and 13 others have been dropped from the lawsuit. So initially there were 19 defendants. So those dropped are Ogeron, his company, the Rosie Finch Boys, LLC. The Tiger Athletic Foundation, F. King Alexander, Joe Oliva, among those that have been dropped. Also, LSU women's tennis coaches Julia and Michael Sell and Associate AD Sharon Lewis. I know specifically with Julia and Michael Sell, that is a story that is, that's a story that's gone on for several years now, and my contention initially then, as I dug into it, was the Sells have very solid, concrete evidence to the directly to the contrary of what is accused, which is why they're still employed despite the allegations. So I'm not in any way surprised to see them dropped from the lawsuit. Maybe what's of more, Ed Ogeron's the big name, obviously, because he was the football coach. He's no longer the football coach, so there's less intrigue there. Maybe of greater import with respect to this lawsuit now is who is still named in the lawsuit. That's the LSU Board of Supervisors, Verge Osbury, Miriam Seeger, former Title IX coordinator Jenny Stewart, and the Associate Dean of Students Jonathan Sanders. Now, Jonathan Sanders was mentioned in the Hush Black. This is one of the things where I went off on after the Hush Blackwell report was first released. If you remember when all this stuff happened initially, I said I'm willing to give everybody their day in court. I'm not going to, with the nature of the allegations, let's wait to see what this investigation showed. And what it showed was awful, egregious behavior on the part of so many people of authority at LSU failing to protect their very own students, and it was disgusting. And LSU did nothing to punish any of them, which is appalling and abysmal, and I'm not going to stop saying that. It's my alma mater. I love LSU, and I'm absolutely embarrassed by the lack of leadership, generally speaking, the people associated, the adults who refuse to be the adults in the room. I'm not going to back off that stance. That pisses off some of you, and I really don't care. A lot of you never step foot a day on that campus. So take a number if you want to be pissed at me. Jonathan Sanders is one that's appalling that he's still employed. He's mentioned more than a dozen times in the Title IX lawsuit. Like, if you actually, in Hush Blackwell, if you actually take the time to go read it, there's instances where female students went to him making rape accusations, and he says stuff like, well, what were you wearing? Like, how is that not immediate grounds for dismissal? But he's still employed over there. You all have read and know the same things about Verge with a lot of what was accused and what there are text messages proving, yet on they go. I don't know how this is all going to end. What I do know is that the longer this goes on, the more the more public shame it will potentially bring not only to LSU, but the athletic department and everything it touches. And I have no sympathy for LSU because they brought this on themselves with their leaders' unwillingness to act appropriately. And then once the Hush Blackwell report became public, the further unwillingness to take appropriate action. So everything that happens to LSU, to their administrators, to all this, I don't care about them personally because they deserve it. Because of their action, and in some cases, total inaction, they deserve it. All right, it's after further review. As that continues, we'll certainly keep you up to date. I'd rather just talk about sports, though. We'll do overrated, underrated coming up in a bit. Let me remind you about Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Maybe post-Ida, you're still recovering, and you're now getting around to the windows or the siding on your home call Relief Windows. Or maybe just when it's freezing cold outside and you're running your heater and you realize your energy bills are going way up. Remember, they have Energy Star windows there at Relief Windows, which means it'll make your home more energy efficient, lowering your monthly energy bills over time. These windows pay for themselves. So call Relief Windows at 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. So today's a sad day in college football. The great Ron Franklin has died. He was 79 years old, and Ron Franklin certainly isn't the most famous broadcaster ever. There are more notable broadcasters that have called bigger games, etc. And we could point out guys like Keith Jackson and Brent Musburger and others who have lent their voice to college football over the years. But for me and a lot of people my age, Ron Franklin provided the soundtrack to college football when we fell in love with the game. Ron Franklin was at ESPN from 1987 to 2005 when he was the play-by-play man for college football primetime. And that was like the 6:45 kickoff. And LSU, seemingly in the 90s, played every damn game at 6:45 on ESPN. It was just like it seemed like it was their permanent spot. That's where LSU played. And it was Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried. I mean, they were the play-by-play tandem that called so many of the LSU games during the DiNardo era and then the early Nick Saban era when LSU was starting their ascent. So, I mean, just incredible moments like when LSU upset Florida in 1997 and Tiger Stadium. That was Ron Franklin on the call.
Clock is down to 14, down to 13. Let them count it off for you. It is official. The LSU Tigers, a 15-point underdog, has knocked off the #1 ranked Gators from the University of Florida by a score of 28-21.
Ron Franklin was 79 years old. The great moments, Cecil Collins losing a shoe, running through Mississippi State, and the great night where he went off against Auburn in a close loss in Tiger Stadium.
Collins breaks it up the middle, and he will score. 42 yards.
He was he was from Jackson, Mississippi. He attended Ole Miss, and one of the strange things about Franklin being that he was an Ole Miss guy, but he loved college football and he loved SEC football, and it was always such a core of him and what he did. Ron Franklin, I asked Muse to find this, and I it's maybe someone can help. There was he narrated an LSU football video. I can't remember the name of it. I don't remember when it was produced or where, but it was some history of LSU football video type thing. And Ron Franklin, an Ole Miss guy, narrated it. And I remember had the fortune to interview Ron Franklin one point early in my career, and he talked about that. And I'm paraphrasing now because I mean, like so many things in this business, as we've moved into a digital age, everything is archived, but everything wasn't archived even 15, 20 years ago. He just talked about how much respect and admiration he had for LSU football and the culture and the tradition and the passion and all of it. And so it was a thrill, even as an Ole Miss guy, to narrate this LSU football video. And think about some of Ole Miss's worst losses in their history were at the hands of LSU. The night the clock stopped, Archie Who. You go back to 1959, of course, Billy Cannon's run. I mean, that Ole Miss team likely would have won the national championship, but for Cannon's run. So, just a guy who loved college football, as I mentioned, provided the soundtrack of the game for so many of us who watched college football during those years from 1987 to 2005. It is worth mentioning that he left ESPN in, I hate to say controversy, but as an older man, he called Janine Edwards sweet babe or something along those lines. I mean, it was something that in the 2000s, sweet baby is what he called her. He referred to Janine Edwards as sweet baby. She complained, and then ultimately he was fired and sued ESPN for wrongful termination, and they ultimately settled their lawsuit. I hated to see Ron Franklin's career at ESPN come to an end that way, and I'm not excusing it. It's an old man who called a younger lady sweet baby. Again, I'm not excusing it. But He was an incredible play-by-play man. Like with someone like John Madden, or I'm not comparing their legacies in the game, don't misunderstand, but when you live to be 79 years old and you accomplish so much, it's hard to be to be overly sad or to mourn in a sense. So certainly those that knew him well will miss the man and will mourn the loss, but it's more of an opportunity to celebrate the life and the legacy and all accomplished. And certainly Ron Franklin's legacy is intact, where so many amazing calls and games that we have and share wonderful memories. I mean, Ron Franklin provided the soundtrack, and I'll always be grateful for that. So Ron Franklin died today at the age of 79. And it is after further review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Plucker. Sean Salisbury is going to join us in 30 minutes from right now. We'll do Overrated, Underrated when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Man, it is getting chilly outside. Well, actually, today it's 74 degrees, so let me refrain. But this weekend, we're supposed to have, like, freezing rain and stuff. What is that? You better call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. 752-0001. Your heater safety check. It's not too late. Y'all know how weird it is. Even though it's January now, we don't really get cold months of January, February, and even into March. I mean, how many days at Alec Box Stadium, March and even into April, where you're wearing sweatshirts and putting blankets on your lap? You're going to be running that heater for a few more months, so make sure you have that heater safety check. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. If you have funny noises or smells coming out of the heater, or if you just can't remember the last time you had it cleaned, it's time. 752-0001. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They save you time, they save you money, and they are hiring. New year, new career, you know what to do. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150, plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Brad A. on the text line said Ron Franklin and Adrian Karsten were great. Mike Gottfried was actually the color analyst, but Adrian Karsten was the sideline reporter for a lot of those games. Adrian Karsten did tragically commit suicide some years ago, but a lot of great memories watching those games and hearing that voice, which was so thick and so rich. If you missed it, we sort of paid tribute in the last segment to Ron Franklin, who died today at the age of 79. Hey, Muse.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
I'm good. We haven't done a poll question yet today.
We have not done a poll question yet
one?
today. Off the top of my head, no.
I got a question for you, Muse.
Okay.
What is the only?
You meant a trivia. I didn't know. I didn't see you had. I didn't know you had it in your hand.
I've got it. When you least expect it, Muse.
Yeah.
What is the only NFL team to have a human as their mascot?
Currently or in history? I don't understand. I mean,
what is the only NFL team to have a human as their mascot?
Buccaneer?
Sorry.
Technically, it's a pirate, but all right.
No, their mascot, Muse.
That's their mascot.
Oh, the person who's the mascot.
You mean on the field mascot?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Well, you didn't specify.
What are you talking about here? That's a mascot. It's not the nickname.
Okay. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. The team nickname would be like the Bucks or the Saints. The mascot is the person of the mascot.
Yeah, in some cases it's the same thing.
All right, it's not at all the same thing. So try again.
Let me get another. All right, let me think. All right, they have somebody on the field. The New England, the Patriots, they have the guys who dress up with the muskets. It's not them either.
Pat the Patriot is a costume.
Oh, I was just thinking of the Minutemen that they have out there.
Pat the Patriot is a costume mascot. The answer we're looking for is the Minnesota Vikings. Ragnar.
Oh,
yeah, the big Viking guy.
Okay.
You're not familiar with Ragnar?
Not familiar with Ragnar. Should I really be that familiar with Ragnar?
Paul, are you familiar with Ragnar?
Once you mention it, yes, I am.
Yeah.
See when you mention it. So,
there was a big issue with Ragnar a few years ago. He wanted more pay, and I told Ragnar to kick rocks.
Really?
Probably.
Did you remember how much he was looking for? Like the ballpark?
He wanted more pay, or he wasn't going to show up at games.
That.
And it was like, no. Hey, you're the moron who chooses to live life looking like a Nordsman, so that on 8 Sundays a year you can go into that venue and wield a sword because you're a moron. All right? You'll take whatever we give you and you'll like it there, Ragnar.
Why does he ride a motorcycle? I don't think Vikings had motorcycles. Actually, I'm positive Vikings did not have motorcycles.
You have a picture of Ragnar?
I was Googling him.
Well, I'm trying to find it on Twitter. There's no Ragnar on Twitter.
I think Paul.
Oh, there you go. There, Paul's got it.
Look, he's on a bike.
There he is. He's a moron who lives his life like a Nordsman. Hey, you'll take whatever money they give you, Ragnar, and you'll like it. You dope.
I think I should get half credit though, because the Patriots do have actual guys on the field.
That's not the mascot. In the same way that the Buccaneers have people on the pirate ship that fire the cannon and all different types of stuff.
I love
the
pirate
mascot
ship.
For the Patriots is Pat the Patriot, similar to the Saints. The mascot is Sir Saint. Previously, it was Gumbo, a dog.
I thought it was still Gumbo the dog.
It's Sir Saint.
Okay.
Is the dude with the big chin.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I thought it was both kind of still.
The Pelicans have the King Cake Baby.
Yeah, that thing needs to be stopped.
And I just noticed a bit ago that the King Cake Baby actually has a verified Twitter account, which is...
Why?
Well, because I think actually someone had started a King Cake Baby...
So they wanted the actual
Twitter account. And whoever that person was did email me some time back because they were miffed that the Pelicans the Pelicans complained to Twitter, and then Twitter took This is stupid.
Why did they email you about that? Shouldn't they email the Pelicans?
Because we were talking about it on the show. I think
that's just
something that's how I know about it. So anyway,
that thing's creepy, and it really should be discontinued.
I agree. It haunts people's dreams, and it is probably listening right now, and will probably tweet me.
Just gonna like show up.
It is going to tweet me because whenever I end up talking about King Cake Baby ends up tweeting or popping up into my mentions somehow along the way.
Like Beetlejuice.
Kind of like Beetlejuice, actually. It's a little bit like that. You say King Cake Baby 3 times, and then boom, there's King Cake
in your
Baby
mentions.
in front of you. Okay, let's do overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
Overrated or underrated, Matt? Rock climbing. I'm talking the real rock climbing, not the kind you do at like an arcade or something, or wherever they have those rock climbing walls.
There's always issues with overrated, underrated, where I do my dead level best to make sure that I'm not letting my personal feeling about something cloud my opinion of whether that thing is overrated or underrated. This is one of those instances, but I'm going to say that rock climbing is overrated. There are many things you can do that are far safer than rappelling on the side of a cliff. So if you're someone who wants to do that and you're a thrill seeker, okay, but you could walk a trail and you can still get the same view. So I'm going to say rock climbing, overrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I'm going to sit on my hands.
Why are you doing that?
To get them warm.
Oh, you're cold.
Today is a rare day where it is cold in here.
Oh, well, welcome to the team, Matt.
I mean, we've been in this studio since 2017.
Yeah.
And you ninnies have complained about it being cold every day that we've been in here. And it's a rare day, but I could probably count on one hand, and I would show you that hand right now if I weren't sitting on it for warmth. But I could count on one hand the number of days where I've been cold in here. But today is one of those days where it is chilly. I don't know what's changed, but boy, it is frigid right now.
Paul and I in the break were talking about bringing in a thermos of hot chocolate in the future because it's just great.
How about a little space heater?
Yeah, sure. I think that's great. Put them under the desk.
Plug one in right down there next to Paul.
All for it. Overrated or underrated? Strawberry shortcake.
Overrated. Fruit in dessert is not worth it. It's not dessert. You're trying to get something that's sweet to mix in that's not necessarily as bad. Go all in. Like, why are we playing for the tie here? Give me a giant chocolate brownie with a scoop of ice cream on it with caramel toppings. Like, I want fruit.
Oh, more chocolate.
Dessert's terrible idea.
Caramel out of here. More chocolate.
That's fine. Then more chocolate. That's fine. Either way.
Strawberries with evaporated milk, also solid there for what it's worth.
No.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. A lot of sweet. Overrated or underrated? Miniature golf.
Underrated. Anybody can do it, and it's generally a good time to do it as a leisure activity. You don't have to be good at golf. You don't have to have ever played golf. You could do miniature golf with your kids. You could do miniature golf on a date. There's a lot of reasons for which you could play miniature golf. And now, the clown nose and the pinwheel and all that stuff can be somewhat frustrating when you're competitive like me and Happy Gilmore, and you want to just take a club to the clown nose. But underrated. Miniature golf is underrated. Now, when you are in a tourist trap, I'm gonna tread lightly here, Muse, but suffice to say, sometimes that the clientele at the miniature golf course in certain parts of the world aren't necessarily the people that you'd be super pumped to be feeling safe with your wife and children around.
Won't be hanging around.
But as a general premise, I'm going to say miniature golf is underrated.
Let's get one more in here. Overrated or underrated Tom Cruise?
Underrated. I think he showed his comedy chops in Pineapple Express.
I forgot about that movie.
Fantastic action movie star. He's done dramatic movies as well. Tom Cruise, one of the most popular actors of our generation, but still underrated.
All right.
Has he won an Academy Award?
Let's Google it. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Tom Cruise, Academy Award. I'm certain he's been nominated. I can't recall him winning an Academy Award, however. So I'm going to say he has not won an Academy Award.
Tom Cruise. Are these... I can't tell if these are nominations or not, but he's listed Best Supporting Actor 2000, Best Actor 1997, Best Actor 1990.
Okay.
And it just says
It
Tom
doesn't say
Cruise.
the movies?
It doesn't say movies. Let's see. This was, I clicked on, well, no, that didn't work. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know. I'm going to look that up and we can come back with it maybe. How about that or something? But he's at least been nominated. It's under awards. Tom Cruise Awards, and it has those three listed.
No, he's only been nominated. He's been nominated 3 times.
Okay.
He did not win.
He did not win.
Best Actor twice and Best Supporting Actor once. Born on the 4th of July, Jerry Maguire and Magnolia. He was nominated. He has not won an Academy Award.
Show me the money.
Underrated. Tom Cruise should be Academy Award winner. Tom Cruise never won.
That's overrated or underrated.
All right, this is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Pluckers. Glad to have you hanging out. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Why in the world? You know what's overrated, Muse? Do you want to know what's overrated? I'll tell you what's overrated. Overpaying for insurance. That's what's overrated. Why would you do it? It doesn't make sense. When you can get something that's better for less money, why would you pay for something that's worse and pay more? It doesn't make any sense at all. That's why you call Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm going to give you the number, and I'm going to highly recommend you dial it right now. 293-0450. 293-0450. 293-0450. I kind of want to take the next 30 seconds just saying the phone number over and over again for 30 seconds to hammer it into your brain. 293-0450. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to tell you is there is no catch. This is a free service. They will shop for you for free. There is no catch to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. The worst thing that happens is they say, hey, the coverage you have now is perfect. Stick with that. 293-0450.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Kids! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
So we anticipated this, but it is now being reported by college basketball reporter Jeff Goodman that LSU will, in fact, be without starting point guard Xavier Pinson tonight against Alabama. Jeff Goodman is with Stadium Sports, by the way. So no X tonight for LSU against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So it's been a place where they've really struggled over the years at Coleman Coliseum, and if they have to get it done tonight on the road, they're going to have to do it without Xavier Pinson. LSU and Bama were about an hour and 9 minutes away from tip. You'll hear that game on Eagle 98.1. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, we have a bevy of injury updates from the NFL. When you have the most active players on NFL playoff rosters like LSU does, that tends to happen.
Flex.
So let's start with Leonard Fournette, Game Coin Lenny, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sorry, what?
I said, oh, thank you.
Oh, yes. Bruce Arians on Wednesday said that running back Leonard Fournette's status is still up in the air. You'll remember Leonard injured the hamstring in Week 15 against the New Orleans Saints. He did participate in a walkthrough today. Status still up in the air. Game Coin Lenny was activated off of IR prior to the wild card game, but still was held out. Also out of practice for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today is wide receiver Cyril Grayson, also still dealing with a hamstring. You're not out there in a walkthrough. That's probably not a good sign for old Cyril Grayson. The Buccaneers will play the Los Angeles Rams, and that's where we find Andrew Whitworth. Big Whit did not practice today, or, well, it was an estimated injury report. He would not have practiced today with a knee, so we'll see as that goes on through the week if Big Whit's back out there on the field. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, running back Darrell Williams. He did not practice today. That's a toe. Darrell Williams carried the ball 6 times, I believe, off the top of my head in the wild card round before being benched because of the injury, but did not practice today. Keep you updated on that one. And then running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, shoulder injury. Yeah, of course.
Elaire.
Yeah, right.
Calahai.
There you go. You haven't been doing that a lot.
Well, he hasn't had a lot.
But I'm giving injury updates
That was
on him.
the worst effort you've made at the name.
Like
that was the worst. No, I didn't like it at all.
Anyway, good news. It should deserve a better Cadillac high than that. Clyde, full go today. Full go today at practice for the Kansas City Chiefs. Clyde, of course, has been dealing with a shoulder injury. And NBA action last night. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they got the dub, 112-110 over the New York Knicks. Bing bong. Naz Reid, 12 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. So a total of 9 points for the big guy.
If he stayed, it'd have been 7 of 7.
Probably. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, also blocked 2 shots. Naz was +5 in that T-Wolves win.
Now, you know what
night.
happened? If he had stayed, he would have intentionally missed one, got his own rebound, and got the putback.
You think he would have just thrown it off the backboard, grabbed it, and slammed it?
Maybe.
That'd have been awesome.
Been huge.
That'd be so good. All right, that's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry for 40 years has been serving all of Louisiana. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette. They've got Shreveport as well. Check them out at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, any of the locations, or online at lmfj.com. Gentlemen, thrill her with the gift in the red box. You see it from so many different philanthropic sides, so many different charitable endeavors and events that you're at. You typically will see the red box because they are invested in our community and they are committed to giving you a great customer service experience every time, no matter your budget. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. Putting a button here on hour number 2. LSU and Alabama, they tip off in 1 hour and 5 minutes. You need a place to watch. Of course, Pluckers is the spot. Title sponsor of our Hump Day shows. When we come back, Sean Salisbury is going to join us. Let's talk some football. We will talk about the NFL playoffs. Maybe get a thought about the Saints draft prospects as well. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hour 3 of AFR is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, celebrating 75 years in business here in 2022. Yes, they offer ISO 17025 accreditation, and I tell you all the time about their track system. So think of it this way. Let's say you're building a piece of machinery, and you need thousands of tools calibrated. Well, how long is it going to take? When are they going to be ready? With the track system, which is a free service to all Michelli customers, with the track system, you can follow when all of those devices are going to be calibrated. And they have a calibration lab in Bossier as well. It's a free system. It's 24/7, 365 access to your calibration certificates at all points, so it makes you more efficient as you're making your way through your project. Michelli.com. Check them out online at Michelli.com. For 75 years, the nation's leading distributor of scales is Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online at Michelli.com.
Thinking about a new car for the new year? Come to Corval Toyota in Opelousas to pre-order your next vehicle. It's an easy process, and Toyotas are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person. Connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they're the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another hurdle crossed by Titans running back Derrick Henry as he makes his way back from a fractured foot. Responded well to the contact in practice. A decision on whether he plays in Saturday's AFC divisional playoff game versus the Bengals expected to be made on Friday. Having Henry on the field dramatically changes that game, notes our Chris Canty.
Even if he can't cut, if he's running straight downhill, he is a bowling ball of knives that nobody on that Bengals defense wants to tackle. And if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator, I'm willing to take my chances with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown beating me because you know what? I know that 22 can beat me.
Chris Canty of Canty and Golick Jr. Buccaneers coach Bruce Arians appealing the $50,000 fine handed down by the NFL for swiping his hand at Tampa safety Andrew Adams' helmet during the wild-card win over Philadelphia on Sunday. Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield had surgery today to repair a torn labrum in his left shoulder. The likely timeline for recovery, 4 to 6 months. He's expected to be ready for the start of training camp. Baker played through the shoulder injury for most of this past season.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
OBJ's situation is totally different because he can still play. He was just in a bad situation with a bad quarterback.
This and more, Thursday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here, glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Staring ahead to the NFL playoff weekend in the divisional round. Thrilled to have Sean Salisbury with us as he has been every week throughout the football season. Sean, thanks as always, man. How are you?
Matt, I'm doing good. Good to be with you as always, bud.
Man, we appreciate it. Let's look back to this weekend. First thing, we got into this conversation yesterday on the show. The margin of victory in the Super Wildcard weekend was exorbitant. 4 of the 6 games were blowouts. Where do you fall? Too many teams or just right?
I've always been, I prefer the old 12 teams. I'm not a big 14-team guy. Maybe that's just the traditionalist in me that says, let's go give 2 teams the buys and let's go play football. But I understand, TV, more money, more people. I just don't like watering it down. That doesn't mean the 14th best team or the 7th seed can't go win, but I prefer, to me, less is more. I prefer more competition, and I don't think 14 teams or even extending that, I would hope they don't, but I didn't ever want to go to 7 teams. I prefer 6 in each, and let's go. So does that mean that that Phil's a good team? They can be on a given time. The difference is the other teams that win, the Buffaloes and the 4 and 5 and 3 seeds, they're going to win most of the time. And when you run into a good team and you're a little depleted and you don't play damn near perfect, you got no shot. So, but Philadelphia has put up a good fight this year at times. I prefer 12 teams, not 14.
Did you have a big overarching takeaway from the AFC in the wild card round?
I can tell you this. I believe that both road teams are going to win this week.
Oh,
so if
okay.
I do. I think, and maybe part of me with the Buffalo thing is the fact that, I picked them in the preseason to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC, and that there was time during the year I'm like, the inconsistencies of their game bothers me. But they seem to be getting right at the right time, and I know I'm not a big game-to-game momentum guy in sports and pro sport. I'm just not, Matty. I'm more of a in-game momentum, whether it's baseball or football or basketball, because game plans change. But I am into the confidence factor that comes with playing good football when you go in and watch tape after your game and say, you know what, we're doing this right. Let's keep it up. And you can build off that. I like teams that have to play every week. I do. Unless you're beat up with 8 guys, I like teams' momentum. I don't like 3 weeks off. I don't. Or meaning you rest guys in the last game in some cases, not necessarily in this playoff, but normally let's play a little bit, rest them. Then we got the bye week. And then I know we're getting Fred. And then by the 3rd week, we've taken 3 weeks off as training camp, damn near. So I don't like that. And if you're in the playoffs, if you wait a quarter and a half, you may be to get going. You may be down 21-3 against these quarterbacks that play in the NFL this deep into the playoffs. So I loved Buffalo's approach, and I think Josh Allen is feeling it. Does it mean that Kansas City's not good? No, but I think Buffalo's going to give them all they can handle, and I think they're primed and ready. And their secondary's good. They will knock you around, and they can cover. And if the longer they cover, the more chance you got at, hopefully forcing a strip sack fumble or getting after Pat. So I like Buffalo in the other game. Listen, I know Derrick Henry's threat, and I know having him and A.J. Brown and those guys all on the field at once, it raises Tannehill's game big time. Who's wouldn't it? But Tannehill works so much better numbers-wise when they've got that threat. And, yes, it's dangerous, and maybe they're so well-rested. But of all the quarterbacks left, I trust, even with Jimmy, and maybe because of the situation, they're not overly explosive, and Jimmy in the NFC, but I just think Joe Burrow is phenomenal. I think he's walking with swagger, which he always is. It's not fake. I don't know if they're hitting on all cylinders. I don't know how the Titans can keep up in a shootout. I honestly don't. So if you get a couple stops and can make Derrick Henry and that running game work for it, and you jump out in front and make them change their game plan where they got to throw it 38 times or 35 times, they don't want to do that. They're the equivalent of the 49ers in the NFC. They want to throw it 23 times, 24 times, and run it 40, 38 times. If they are, then they'll be in rhythm. We'll have a game. I think that the explosiveness of the Cincinnati Bengals offense, if you can get a few stops, I think Cincinnati can win. And I'm actually quite confident that the Bengals are, and Joe Burrow, and I can't wait to see Burrow and Allen because I believe they're going to Buffalo, and those 2 road teams are winning this week. I love the approach and the weapons and the way Cincinnati's playing right now.
In this town, in this state, everybody, it's who dat has been replaced temporarily for who day right now.
Yes, and I'll tell you real quick, Matty, about that. I just, sometimes you'll look at a team that's been on a 2 or 3 game roll or does it, and you say, okay, that's gonna stop down. I don't think it's stopping down for a decade. I don't. I think this is who they are. They've got a phenomenal running back who's versatile. They've got 2 and 3 wide. Their 2 and 3 at wide receiver can beat you. Jamar Chase can beat anybody, even if you double. He's like Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. You double him and Justin Jefferson, they're going to beat you. He's still going to beat you. And the great thing about Joe is he's not locked into, Joe will go out. If Jamar's not covered, he'll hit 5 other guys, a tight end here. They are just in rhythm. And when you got a big quarterback and an accurate guy Joe acts and plays like he's got 3 Super Bowl rings and he's been in the league 10 years. I think his swagger is not fake. I think it's real. And I think the culture in the building simply changed by one guy walking in there, and then everybody bought in. I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to take a backseat to anybody in this division for the next – they're going to be in a chance to win the division for the next decade. I'm just telling you.
Man, I would love to see the Bengals go beat the Titans this weekend. Hey, what about the NFC with Green Bay having the week off and how that matchup looks up in what's probably going to be a very, very frigid Lambeau field with a team in the Niners, man, that probably just kind of like what you explained, Sean, probably suits them to play that style of game.
Yeah, and you know what? What you don't want to do if you're San Francisco is let Aaron get up 21-3, right? And you got to chase him because then he's smirking at you. He's like that, when the cat swallows the canary in the cartoons and there's this smirk like, I know something the rest of the world doesn't. That's Rodgers. Well, and he usually doesn't. He plays many times like the rest of the world doesn't. Here's what I love about San Francisco. I went into last week's game, Matt, and we might have talked about it. I said the Cowboy 49er game is going to be as true to their MO and their identity is what they do, and the one who executes their identity better wins. Cowboys, Kellen Moore, I said, was going to 2 3 and outs, and you can forget the run game. He's going to bail out on it, and he did. They threw 44 times, and they weren't as efficient. I said the 49ers look to get 35 carries. If they get 35 carries or more, they're winning this game because they'll be exact. And Jimmy threw it 25 times. That's where they want to live, and they execute it. And their front seven is underrated, man. They are getting after it, and that's what they're going to try to do to Aaron, try to rush 4 and mix in a blitz once in a while, but try, because he'll beat that blitz, and they're good enough to do it, and see if you can pressure him with, without having to blitz 6 and 7 guys. And because in truth is the weakness of the 49ers is on the edge. I'm talking about the corners. And so if you're going to help out with 2 deep and help over the top, then the best thing to do is run it. And the Packers run it pretty well. But that front seven's manly now. They will bow up on you and play. I give them a legitimate chance, but it's really going to come down to this for me, Matt, because you're not going to stop Rodgers. You're going to try to contain him. But think about last week, and I think Jimmy's underrated. I think he's a solid player. But think about, and it happens every week, Matt. It happens every friggin' week for the most part with Jimmy. He's playing. That first drive was masterful with Kyle Collin running, Deebo Samuel. You know how I feel about him. What a versatile guy he is. Jimmy hits a slant, hits another one, bootleg, throws to the flat. Is about 3 or 4 times a game Jimmy misses a very simple play.
Oh, yeah.
You saw him miss Ayuk. You saw him miss Deebo on a corner route. I think it was Deebo on a corner. You saw him overthrow in the flat there, like the guy's wide open, and he allowed Dallas to intercept the ball, and it was just dude, what are you doing? To get back into the game. That game shouldn't have been that close.
Yep.
It should not have been. So there's 3 or 4 throws that Jimmy cannot afford to do, because you can do that against me. You can do that against when Dak or somebody's struggling, and me, because I'm not beating you. But you can't do it against Rodgers. Those 3 or 4 simple plays you must make. Keep an eye on the run game and keep an eye on the pressures on Rodgers. I don't even care about the sacks. I care about the pressures. I like Green Bay because Rodgers is just he takes you over the equalization. He just is in a different stratosphere right now, and they're pretty good. But you can score on their defense, and you got to hit Rodgers, as you saw the Saints do early, and force him into a game like that. But he's well advanced past that. You better run it, shorten the game, and you better get pressure with that front seven and be able to prevent the home run and big play. And Jimmy cannot miss 3 easy throws. That'll be the difference in 1 possession and 10 points. And you better you better back off the field goals too. You better score touchdowns, because your 3 equals Rodgers' 7. I actually think that this is going to be a higher scoring game than people may think. I think first team to 30 wins. I don't think 23, 24 points wins this game.
He's Sean Salisbury on Twitter @SeanUnfiltered. Let me grab a quick break. I want to come back. I do want to ask you about the Tampa Rams game as well, and the unfortunate questions that I have to ask Sean about teams like the Saints who aren't in the playoffs and are looking forward to the future. We've got one more segment with Sean Salisbury. It's great to join us every week here during football season. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Give them a call, 757-6138. I've told you about Pinnacle for months now, and this is the time. This is the time to call. I know you're thinking, man, look, it's not pool season yet. I'm not thinking about that. But if you want that custom pool, don't wait until pool season, because the problem is when you start the process of getting a landscape architect out, putting together the plans, getting you on the schedule, breaking ground, completing the project, you might miss pool season or most of it. So don't call in May thinking you're going to be swimming in June. Call right now to Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Begin that process. Have that thing done so the minute the weather turns warm, you're swimming in your own custom pool at your home. It's Pinnacle Exterior Construction, custom pools, outdoor kitchens like they just built at my house, fences, decks, bulkheads, pergolas. You want to turn your outdoor space into a show place? It's Pinnacle Exterior Construction. PECbuilt.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
43 minutes to tip. LSU and Bama need a place to watch. Get by Pluckers, Nicholson, or Bluebonnet. Glad to be joined by Sean Salisbury. Got him for about 10 more minutes here, so I want to get to got a lot of ground to cover here. And we always appreciate Sean for being with us here during this football season. I did want to ask you about Rams-Bucks, in particular, because I look at Tampa's secondary, and I understand that that's a vulnerability. And I look at the Rams' weapons on the outside and go, man, the Rams may actually be able to go in there, sling it, and win a score fest. What do you think? I see if we got Sean. Maybe you can pick up the phone there, Muse. All right. Well, that was a big, long intro. All right, let's see. I think we got Sean. Sean, not sure if you heard the intro there. Do you think that the Rams can go sling it against that Tampa secondary and maybe win a score fest?
I do. And I listen, about 15 years, I don't think I've picked against Brady in the postseason in damn near 2 decades because it's hard to, because this is where he lives, not where he rents, and he's special. But their weapons, the Rams may have the best roster left in the playoffs. Now, 49ers got about 5 or 6 monsters at different positions, but overall, when you look at the overall approach, they're pretty loaded now. The Buccaneers would be in it if they were fully healthy, but they're not. But on the road, yes, we still got to see Stafford. He threw 17 times last week, and I'm a huge fan. But Matt is still out there, and he won his first playoff game. But can he go in, play a quarterback who's, on par, who's the man, and match him throw for throw, and not throw the one costly, oh my gosh, pick six, right? And Matty's got all kinds of game, and I think they like that. The key here is their run game is reared its head. So yeah, they can, Matt, and we could get into all the X's and O's of it, but I am very concerned about the back end for Tampa. Of all the teams left, we mentioned San Francisco and what their front seven has to do. I'm not so sure that Tampa's front seven doesn't have to play one of those games like they did against Tampa, because I don't think you can play man throughout this game if you don't get to – you may blitz Matt and force a tip ball interception, but if you're going to play man, you better get to him quick and not let him hold the ball, because with Kupp and the way Beckham runs and is playing right now, there's some home runs and chunk plays waiting to happen. I fully believe this is a high-scoring game. Both teams run it efficiently enough. Both quarterbacks are capable of 400-yard games. The personnel on the Rams is better right now, but if you turn it over twice, that's going to – and if Matt throws one of those and has one of those quarters, that's when Brady will destroy you, and then you'll be playing chase, and then they can change their coverage. I give him a very legitimate chance to win. I'm going to take Tampa because I think that Matt or somebody on the Rams will make a mistake that they won't, meaning Brady, and I trust Todd Bowles on the defensive end as much as I trust any coordinator left in the playoffs defensively.
He is Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered, hanging out with us here. I'm excited about the divisional round, obviously the playoffs, but unfortunately for us here in Saints country, we're turning the page and looking for the future of the franchise. And there's a ton of question about quarterback. And I'm starting to see a lot of mock drafts, Sean, that have the Saints pulling the trigger on Kenny Pickett. There was one at USA Today last week, and Kuiper projected that today. I don't know how much of Kenny Pickett you got to see this year, but
quite a bit.
What do you think about the Saints at 18 picking a quarterback?
I don't trust any quarterback inside the top 10, and in this draft, this year, I don't look now. You get with a Sean Payton, and it may change the whole landscape. Like I would say, if you get with LaFleur or one of those type of guys, right? That it's like, okay, these guys, this is an outlier. Now you got a coach that will take an 8 and make him a 9.5 in a hurry. And if you're a quarterback in college, you're begging for this chance. Kenny Pickett's got a big arm, played a lot of. He's been in college football for a minute. He can throw it now. There is no doubt he can rip it. The question you got to ask yourself, is he a program changer? Now, a lot of times people say, well, at 18, you don't need to change the program right away. But if I'm the Saints, I'm not waiting long, right? Even with the first-round pick, Matt, we just don't wait long anymore. Do I trust Pickett with Sean Payton more than I trust Kenny Pickett in New York with the Giants? Hell yes, I do. But I personally, and haven't seen him, I think I probably saw him 6 times, maybe 7, and I'll watch more on him. I love it, but I don't know if he can waltz in and start in an NFL on a team like this right now. I think that when I say project, that he may be a year or so away, and you can hold it down, but a lot of times these guys, we want to get him reps and go right away. So there's a lot to like about him, but I think there's more ifs for my liking on the first-round quarterbacks this year. I don't like a first-round quarterback if I got a lot of ifs. Kenny Pickett, 18 sounds about right, anywhere 15 and 25 in that range, and he seems to be the talk of the class. Matt Corral's pretty good too, but I don't like when I'm drafting a quarterback, I want there to be very minimal of, okay, if we just get this and this, we're going to be good. I think there's a few more ifs around Kenny Pickett. I'd have to see him throw in front of Sean Payton. I'd like to see more of him in an offense like that, but I get why, if you're going to draft a quarterback, why he'd be the guy the Saints wanted in this draft. Okay. I just don't know if I see a franchise changer, and I could be one of these guys. Will be. I just don't, on the surface from what I've seen, I don't see a guy that comes in and all of a sudden I'm thinking that's the franchise changer right away. I think he needs a little bit of time.
So I agree with you on that. One of the bigger questions I have, Sean, is if you look at a team like the Saints, clearly depth became an issue this year, but their frontline talent is, hell, they were above 500 with what at quarterback. It's hard to look at them and say they should be in rebuild mode. So what do you think the approach should be at quarterback for the Saints this offseason?
And Matt, this is for me on the outside. If I was in the building, I would ask whether it's Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, whoever, the guys that are making those decisions. The simple thing is, for me, and it's a very simple question. Do you love him or do you not? Do you love him or like him? Meaning the quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going to draft him, do you love him? If you love him, jump all over it. And if you think then go for it. For me, I'm not a big rebuild guy, especially a team like this. I retool. I was asked this question earlier today about what the Rams did, right? They went out and got Stafford. Mm-hmm. I love assets, but I'll be honest with you, Matt. If you told me I could have Russell Wilson or 2 extra first-round picks, I'll take Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
because I know what I'm getting. I don't. While first-round picks are all fine and it looks good, especially like the Texans who haven't seemed to have one, right? Finally getting another one this year. But I will always take. That's why I'd give up 3 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders for Watson if he's cleared, because you know why? Whoever you are, whoever's going to get him, because I know what I get, a top 5 asset in the league at the position, and the first rounder may not pan out. I know what I get. So I'm one of those guys. I don't care about 2028, Matt. I don't. I don't care about it for my team. I care about next year. And look at Sean McVay. He's like, we're getting all this. We're going all in. We're winning now. I'll give all these assets away. I'll deal in 2025 with 2025. And I understand, well, salary cap, that's all for the smarter guys on salary cap to figure out. For me, if you're asking assets or players, and that doesn't mean you go overpay for some a guy who's an up and down guy as a 34-year-old free agent. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about get guys you know are going to contribute and help you win, like what they're doing with the Rams and what the Buccaneers have done some, mix it with young players. But if you're saying top-line player or an asset, for instance, Kenny Pickett and another player or Russ Wilson and give up a first-rounder or 2 the next 2 years, I would say go get Russ Wilson, because you got a better chance to win a Super Bowl with Russ Wilson in the next 2 years than you do hoping that some guy 5 years from now is, look how tough it is on Trevor Lawrence. And you guys got a good team there in New Orleans. So it's tough to be a rookie and come in and do that, even on a good team. I'll take the asset later. I'll take the stud now. I'd rather have 1 Super Bowl early than hope to get 2 later.
Amen.
That's just me.
Hey, man, it's what Denver did with Peyton Manning, right? I mean,
Amen. Yes, and look how it paid off. Now, you don't want to do it with a guy, well, kind of. It goes back to love or like, Matt. I've always said, if you love a guy, whether we do or not, me and you, if Sean loves him, draft him. I don't care if people say, well, that's a reach. Screw you. To Sean Payton, it's not a reach.
Amen.
I love him or like him. And if I love a guy, I could care less what somebody in the 8th row thinks or what another team thinks. If you like him, then you got to do your due diligence and find out what's best for you now and down the road.
Okay, last thing for you. Since you are close to the situation, you brought up Deshaun Watson. You've told us you believe he will not be back in Houston. And is there any update on what the probability or likelihood is that happens there?
I think that the Brian Flores talk is like, whoa, is there a chance? Because, well, Brian Flores wanted him in Miami, and
right.
And Deshaun loved Brian Flores, and what if Brian gets a job here? Could he talk Deshaun into it? And I asked a couple insiders that are pretty close to this situation, and you know what they said? I said, what if Brian Flores comes here? He talked Deshaun into coming. A lot of ifs here, Matty. If he talked Deshaun into saying, you know what, dude, we can do this together. Don't worry about Jack Easterby. I got you. And because Brian and Jack Easterby have a good relationship too, and he convinced Deshaun to say, yep, when all this legal's done, I'm going to come back and I got my contract and come back and be a Texan. There is talk now that I've heard from more than one guy that the Texans wouldn't do it. Now, Nick Caserio has never said he doesn't want Deshaun Watson. I think Nick Caserio knows what winning with a good quarterback's like in New England. He did it a lot. So I think that there's a slight hint that if it's Flores, that maybe Brian could talk him in. The question is, will Cal McNair and the ownership group, PR-wise, want to suck that up and say, listen, the PR's already out there. We're going to keep this great quarterback, because there's no guy in this draft or next year's draft, Bryce Young or not, that's anywhere near Deshaun Watson right now as a player. So I think that's the latest update is there's hope, but slim chance that and a bigger chance that he'll still be playing somewhere else. But if Brian Flores can work his magic and gets hired, there you have it. And the question is, does Brian Flores want to come in here and try to work his magic and deal in an organization that's a bit dysfunctional, to say the least, right now, even with the relationships he has with the Patriots guys? That's
just one of the gigantic questions of this offseason.
It'll be the biggest one, Matty. It'll be the biggest one.
Rodgers is up there as well if they can mend that fence. But Rodgers, you mentioned Russell Wilson, but Deshaun Watson, just a transcendent young talent that could alter the landscape.
Oh, there's no doubt it's Rodgers. If Rodgers decides to middle finger everybody, say I'm going to San Francisco or somewhere, or New Orleans, I get it. But of the guys who you're going to have to trade or do that, Watson's going to be, if he's not one, he ain't going to be number 4. They're going to have to. It's going to be an interesting watch the entire offseason for a lot of reasons.
Sean Salisbury, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for the time, as always.
Feelings mutual, brother. Thank you.
All right, Sean Salisbury. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Great 30 minutes of our week all throughout football season. We're thrilled to have him. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. Remember, the Denham Springs location of Shawbills is now open, so if you're out there in Livingston Parish, you have a Shawbills near you as well. ShawBillsTire.com. Check them out online. Find the location near you. But the thing you just got to remember is, man, they're going to treat you like family. Get a nail in your tire. Bring it to Shawbills. They'll repair your tire for free, even if you didn't buy the tire there. Just because 50 years ago when they opened their door, Mr. Charlie said that's the right thing to do. That's just the way you treat people. And when you do that, it's going to pay it forward, and it's going to come back to you tenfold. And that's the way they've operated. It's worked for 50 years, and it'll work for 50 or 150 more at Shawbill. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling. All right, we are 30 minutes away from tip, LSU and Alabama. If you missed it, Xavier Pinson is officially out for this ball game. That is unfortunate. Tigers are going to have to find a way to get some offensive efficiency against an Alabama defense that is not very good, by the way. Second to worst in the SEC in scoring defense or points allowed. So Tigers are going to have a shot in this one. A couple of desperate teams. Bama more so than LSU, but two teams that really need this win tonight at Coleman Coliseum. As I'll tip it up in about 30 minutes. I'll tip it off in about 30 minutes from right now. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. I'll give you some final thoughts on LSU, Bama. Stay with us, AFR.
AFR.
Hancock Whitney Bank is the official banking partner of LSU Athletics. They're the official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints. They're the official banking partner of AFR, and they're the official banking partner of me and so many of you, as they have been for more than a century now. HancockWhitney.com. Branches and financial centers all across the Southeast. So even if you're not sitting here in Baton Rouge right now, or you're listening online, or if you're in New Orleans or parts of the parts of the Gulf Coast and Mississippi coast and the Alabama coast or Florida Panhandle, you've got a Hancock Whitney branch near you. If it's small business banking, if it's commercial banking, if you're looking to save and manage your wealth to plan for that dream vacation or how to put your kids through college, a banker at Hancock Whitney Bank can help you with the personalized customer service of a community bank and all the services that you'd expect from a great big bank. That's Hancock Whitney Bank, the official banking partner of LSU Athletics and of the New Orleans Saints. It's Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC. Learn more online at HancockWhitney.com.
Yo, Jake here from Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they are the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, PatientPlusUC.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Thinking about a new car for the new year? Come on down to Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. You can reserve yours today. Make the decision now. Come on down to Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A lot of people asked, why would Cortez Hankton leave Georgia? Stability, defending national champions. Why would he leave that for LSU? New staff, coming off a 6-7 season and all that stuff. And if you remember, he tweeted out the word home with a purple and gold heart. Well, Wilson Alexander on Twitter, he got a hold of the term sheet for Cortez Hankton. Home, definitely a part of it. Opportunity to come back to his home state. Doubling your salary helps also. Cortez Hankton's going to make $900,000 to be LSU's wide receivers coach. I think Mickey Joseph was making about $450. Somewhere in that range. Hankton was making about $5 at Georgia. So nearly doubled his salary. Yes, the opportunity to come home and to double your salary. But it's also a reason why Frank Wilson left McNeese, where he was a head coach. Why would you leave a head coach to go be a position coach? Well, yes, it's the opportunity to be at a major university, that sort of thing. But paying him $900,000 when he was making, if I'm not mistaken, in the twos there at McNeese, there's a very obvious reason why, and a lot of it's financial. I will be very interested to see the total salary of this staff. And generally speaking, in a coach's offer sheet, when a head coach is hired, and this is something that's new, but it's starting to happen more often, is coaches are in their offer sheet, in their contract, it is stipulated the amount of money that they have allocated for their staff. And LSU has always been willing to pay staff members. I mean, they made Dave Aranda the richest coordinator in college football when he was making $2.5 million. If I'm not mistaken, LSU made John Chavis the first $1 million coordinator. I'd have to go back and check on that, but I'm pretty sure he was the first $1 million coordinator. And they were the first to have $2 million coordinators with Chavis, and at the time when Cam Cameron came in and made $1 million. It was incredible, that LSU was willing to do. So they've always been willing to pay staff members. But I will be interested to see the jump year to year from a year ago with Ed Ogeron's final staff to this staff, to see how much LSU's paying. Because you better believe if you're getting Mike Denbrock away from Cincinnati and if you're getting Matt House away from Kansas City, they're obviously both going to be $1 million coordinators. Are they going to be in the same range that your coordinators a year ago were, in the $1.2 million to $1.5 million range, or is it going to be north of that? We'll wait and see the terms of those contracts whenever they're released. But to have two assistants on staff now making $900,000, and remember, Brad Davis, when you got him away from Arkansas, you were paying him in the 8s. So to have an offensive line coach making in the 8s, to have a wide receiver coach and a running backs coach each in the $900,000 range, I mean, you're bumping up on position coaches making $1 million. It's staggering the amount of money that LSU is willing to spend, not only on coordinators, but on the support staff. But if that's the type of commitment it took to get Brian Kelly on board, that's where Scott Woodward does his best work, where he is able to go find the people who to know who to call, what trees to shake, to be able to get the necessary funding he needs to get deals done. It's one of the things that makes Scott Woodward so good at his job, and this is another example of it. So Cortez Hankton, $900,000 to be LSU's wide receiver coach. All right, it's after further review, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's us at HUDCO Roofing. I was so proud a year ago to join up as a partner with HUDCO Roofing, me and Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley. I tell you all the time, you can email me directly. I'm a partner in the business. Matt at HUDCOroofing.com. But remember, if you need a roof repair, post Ida, we can help. HUDCOroofing.com. If you're not sure if you have damage, call us. We'll give you a no-obligation inspection. HUDCOroofing.com. Maybe you need a roof repair. We even can soft wash your roof or your entire home. HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know at HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. We're all over the state of Louisiana with offices in Shreveport, and then obviously our Baton Rouge office that services the southern part of the state. Check us out online at hudcoroofing.com. It's so easy. Just go to the website, fill out that contact form, or you can always give us a call at 364-1007. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you call, you may get Terrio because it rings the office and then it rings like Tilly and Terrio's cell phones as well. So you may actually get Terrio on the phone. I'm not kidding. Seriously. 364-1007, 364-1007 for Hudco Roofing or hudcoroofing.com. All right, LSU and Alabama, they're going to tip it off in 19 minutes from right now. No Xavier Pinson. He is officially out for the ball game. Will Wade did talk about the challenges of defending this Alabama offense, which is averaging over 80 points a game, one of the top teams in all of college basketball, second behind only Kentucky in scoring offense right now. Here was Will Wade on defending that Alabama offense.
Certainly Alabama's offense is extremely potent, very, very good. And to your point, they are built, the Cornerback can take advantage of the mismatches. J.D. Davison can take advantage of the mismatches. Shackelford can take advantage of the mismatches. So, they're built, and we're going to have to sit down and guard and stay in front of the ball. And, Ellis can do the same thing. So it'll be a challenge for the defense. But if our defense doesn't hold up at Alabama, doesn't mean our defense is all of a sudden terrible. It's just a lot of it's matchup based, and we're gonna have to do some different things against them than we've done.
I think LSU's defense will hold up. I'm curious more about LSU's offense on the road in that environment. And for whatever it's worth, everybody scored against Alabama. Mississippi State scored 78. Auburn scored 81. Missouri scored 92. Even that Florida offense in Gainesville put up 70 against Alabama. They did hold Tennessee to 68, but this is one I'm excited to have Jimmy on in a minute for Otterlocks, because one of his blind betting tenets is always, if you see a ranked team as an underdog, blind bet it, because just the wrong team's ranked is essentially the rank. The voters are giving too much credence to the ranked team, and LSU is a 4-point under. LSU is a ranked team, is a 4-point underdog in this ballgame. So, per the Otter, he would normally tell you blind bet Alabama in this game, lay in the 4. So we'll see if he holds true to that when we chat with him coming up here in a few minutes for Otterlocks. But it is after further review. Tigers and Tide coming up in 17 minutes. Both teams need it. Alabama's on a 3-game losing streak. LSU painfully dropped that one at home against Arkansas. But like we talked about, you counterbalance a bad loss with a good win, and this would certainly be a good win on the road in a place where you've just really struggled to win over the years. All right, it is after further review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. You need a place to watch that game tonight. Tip off in 17 minutes. Get by either Pluckers location. And remember, also, trivia tonight, 8 o'clock. 5 rounds, live action trivia, both locations. So you can watch LSU and Bama 6 to 8-ish. And then when that game ends, play trivia, win Pluckers gift cards, eat wings, drink beer. It's Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. All right, Otterlocks to wrap up next. Stick around.
AFR.
What an amazing time right now to get by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. My goodness, what an awesome time to get by Clegg's. They have a new shipment of flowering plants arriving every week throughout the week. So if your landscape, if your flower pots kind of looking gray and drab and tired, you can add a pop of color and brighten things up, even in this time of year. New shipments of trees and shrubs arrive weekly. It is a great time to plant trees and shrubs, and nobody has a selection like Clegg's Nursery. Any of their 4 locations. Also remember, Clegg's is part of a True Value hardware store, so anything you'd find at a True Value hardware store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local for more than 60 years. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. Get to Otter Locks here in a moment. Jimmy Ott, of course, is a Williamson Eye Center patient, as am I. Dr. Blake Williamson and the gang over there, fantastic. They helped me see better than 20/20 with LASIK. Otter had the lens replacement, same thing my dad had, because the Otter's basically the same age as my dad. He could basically be my dad. That's how old he is. Or maybe you're Hester. PRK was the option for Hester. Had LASIK years ago, and PRK got him right. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. Okay, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Clark Crane Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Francisville. Because a great deal is worth the short drive to Clark Crane.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Hello, son.
Could be.
Or now, your dad is like a deacon.
He is.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
He is a deacon in the Catholic Church. Yes, he's an ordained deacon. Yes.
I'm just a shade off of that, but I tell you what. But you know what? You know what you call me after 3-0? You call me Daddy. Okay,
3-0. Otter cashing tickets last night. Hey man, before you no, go ahead.
UConn, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, all getting there last night.
Not a babe.
There you go.
Babe. Hey, I don't know if you heard the last segment, but one of your tenets is if you see a ranked team as an underdog, blind bet the unranked team as the favorite. So, you betting Bama tonight?
I I can never give out a public pick against LSU basketball. And part of my fandom, extra fandom, because I think of the three major sports for LSU, I think basketball has the steepest uphill climb. I think they have the weakest resources, related to everybody else. I mean, LSU's budget in football, LSU's budget in baseball. I mean, it's top notch.
Right.
Not in basketball. I mean, we were like 11th in recruiting budget when Johnny Jones was there. So I'm never going to do it. But this is an uphill battle for LSU tonight. This line opened up late last night, about 9 o'clock our time, at Pick'em. It opened up at Pick'em, and immediately sharp money went to 4.5. It leveled out at 4. I mean, the whole morning, whole afternoon, till right now, and a little uptick at 4.5 at Bet Rivers. But the Ken Palm line was 4, okay? And then a lot of people, when they see a disparity like that, they get all over it, and they immediately jumped on Alabama. The thing I'm looking at tonight's game, though, what I will give you on this game, though, is that LSU, again, is to the under, okay? So they are 14-3 to the under this year. But even more extreme than that, and if you just have over-unders, go with the under, 148. But also Alabama, LSU's opponent, the under, is 16-1 to the under. And this thing is at 76.5 right now. So I like Bama under 76.5 for the game, under 148. So I am going to ride that one. LSU averaging 128 in their 5 games total points. Bama is averaging 157, but LSU's not pressing. They're not pressing like they did during the preseason. And without Pinson again tonight, I think they're going to, pick their spots when they press as well. So I think, first half scoring under. I mean, all the unders, especially Alabama's team total, under the number tonight in that one.
Anything that you like tonight?
I'm going to go to Iowa and Rutgers. Iowa has been they're a good team. They really are, and but this Rutgers at home. And it's not the RAC anymore, the RAC. It's now the Jersey Mike Center. And who doesn't like Jersey Mike, huh? So we go with Rutgers. Rutgers, and that. You think, and you know what? It's the closest thing I could come up to tying anything in with Colucci on a Wednesday. Jersey. So give me the Rutgers Scarlet Knights plus 3.5 at home. So. A&M is an interesting one tonight. That thing's floating back and forth from 6.5 to 7.5. But under LSU Bama, under Bama team total, and Rutgers are picks tonight.
Damn, Hit me with it, bro. Hit me with it, bro.
Yes, son. Anything else, son?
All right, so you said Rutgers?
Rutgers, under LSU, Alabama, and under Bama team total 76.5.
So I'm sorry, because I was so wrapped up in trying to get the Colucci horn there. Do you like Rutgers in the game or the under in the Rutgers game? I'm sorry.
No, Rutgers.
Okay. So you like
Rutgers. Yes.
Where are you tonight, Where are you tonight?
The title sponsor tonight, Clark Crane, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on US 61 in St. Francisville. So we'll have the laptop over here. Max, the intern's got it charged up, and we're ready to watch it. I mean, what coach wins a basketball game and goes, get the F out of here? Bobby Knight.
Hey, what's the story? I got like 30 seconds. What's the story there? Do you know?
It's just in. People don't like Will Wade, and they are both fighting for the same piece of the pie. They're very similar. They're real good up-and-coming coaches coaching at non-traditional powers with a lot of football resource and money. If they ever get going, I mean, they're rivals, man. And so I thought it was Bush League by him. I mean, the ball rims out. Really, you didn't beat us by 18 or 20. I mean, the ball rimmed out at the end, and it was a great game. But they just two similar coaches, a little tightly wound, and there you go.
All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, son.
Muse, what did you learn?
Sean Salisbury loves himself some Joey B.
Yeah, he does. Paulie.
Cortez Hankton getting paid.
Yeah, he is.
What'd you learn?
$900K.
What'd you learn, Scott?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's back. And Musso still can't pronounce it. It's Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's what I said, yeah.
No. You said like Helaire. It was the worst attempt ever. Worst attempt yet. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
AFR.
DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to Louisiana. Have you done it yet? By it, I mean download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Here's what they're doing. If you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app before mobile betting goes live in Louisiana, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, and they are giving you $100 in free bets. No deposit required. This isn't a deposit match. This is just, here's $100 to bet with just for signing up on our app using the code Baton Rouge before we go live. So get to your app store, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code Baton Rouge, get $100 in free bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. 21 and older, Louisiana only. Availability varies by payers. Availability supply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge. Innovating